Hello, everybody, and welcome to another week of Mythic Plus Affixes here on PeteyTV. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you to make sure you hit that subscribe button here, so you can see every single week when we have our news for our Mythic Pluses. What we have is gaming reviews, we have some tech reviews, we got lots of different reviews here. And most importantly, we talk about World of Warcraft. Now, if you're looking for us live, we are on twitch.tv, PeteyTV. Now, first thing I'm going to tell you is this week is, I think, week 9 of our Mythic Plus affixes of Season 2. So, what are those affixes? You're asking yourself. Well, it is Tyrannical, Entangling, and Bursting. Now, as we all know, we've been dealing with Tyrannical for a while. That is the increased damage and HP of the bosses that are involved in the Mythic Pluses. So, that is that. Entangling is our new affix. Now, if you're wondering what Entangling is, you're just going to be standing there, and these vines are just going to appear around you. Just got to move and get them out of the root, and you're good. So if you're Hunter, Disengage, Druid, Shapeshift, Mages, Blink, so on and so forth. So you have those capabilities right there. And the last one is a oldie but goodie, and that is Bursting. Now, Bursting is when the mobs themselves, they die and they explode on death, dealing damage to everybody in the group. And the more you kill, the more damage it deals to the players. Now, let's take a moment and think about how these affect each of those, each of those classes. So, let's think. Who's gonna have the worst? Who's gonna have the worst week? Thinking healers this week are going to have the worst week to deal with, because not only are they going to have to deal with the increased damage from the bosses, they're going to also have to deal with the bursting from the mobs. So priests, shadow priests, monk revivals, those guys are going to be your clear winners this week. So you have that. Now, as for your tanks, dealing with Tyrannical, it's going to be difficult in your hierarchies to make sure you end up learning when to properly using your defensives so that you can kind of get through those mobs. So be careful of that. And your Entangling is going to be very easy for everybody. Now, your melee are going to have to make sure they keep an eye on your bursting stacks. Make sure you deal with that accordingly. Make sure you're not destroying the group because you want to just blow up everything, like the first pull and freehold. So be careful of that. And then your range are going to have to do the same. Be very, very careful of that, so you can go there. And make sure you watch your cleaves, make sure you watch your damage, so on and so forth. Make sure you're doing mechanics properly. Now, the thing I want to bring up this week, before we talk about dungeons, is that you had a bunch of big nerfs this week. Now, I'm not going to go into all the big nerfs of what happened this week, because there were a lot of them. But what I do want to talk about is that there are fixes in the nerfs that are going to make everything a little bit easier, and that is going to be the damage from the last boss in what's it called, Vortex Pinnacle. You had that happen. You had the mobs in Netheris, easier to kill. So you have these little things this week. The first boss in Dragonflight Hollow, he ends up doing less damage now. So we have all of these little things that are going to make your week a little bit easier, even though it is a Tyrannical week. Just something to kind of put in your minds. I just want to make sure everyone knows about that. Now, just a reminder, if you guys are wondering what these glasses are, these are from Sub2R. They are amazing gamer glasses that have been helping enhance my performance while gaming. Now, it has helped me to be able to see a lot of things differently. Now, we have a full article coming out within the next week for them on lordsofgaming.net, so make sure you keep an eye on that. I'll be posting that stuff on Twitter and so on and so forth, so make sure you keep an eye on those. Also, PeteyTV there if you want to get a 10% discount. Also, Rogue Energy drinks, if you end up using those, PeteyTV, use that code there for the affiliated code if you are looking to get a little bit of a discount in addition to helping out the channel. All right, so we have those. Now, so let's talk about this again. Dragonflight Hollow with the nerf to the first boss, I haven't tested it yet, but I want to see how bad he does for damage. So I think that is going to be actually a little bit easier than normal. So I think the bosses themselves are going to be a little bit on the difficult side, as always, but not too bad. Bursting is going to be a problem because there's a lot of mobs in between the first boss, second boss, and the third boss and the last boss. So you got to make sure you got to keep an eye on those. So keep an eye on bursting while you're in Brackenhide. Freehold, make sure you keep an eye on Freehold. The first pull there, like I said before, please don't be an idiot and pull the whole thing and burst the whole thing unless you have a priest that knows what they're doing. If you do that properly, then you'll be golden. If you don't, you're just gonna die. And you can die. You can do whatever you want, but it's just silly. So something to keep in the back of your head there. All right. The mobs there are large groupings of mobs. Lots of AoE. So be careful of the bursting there. Freehold tends to be an easier dungeon just because you can mow through it pretty quickly. This week, I don't think that's the case because of the bursting and because you have a million HP on what's his name, Thorok, whatever you want to call him, or Torok, the shark boss, and also you're gonna have a lot of damage going to be inflicted from Eudora from the captains. So be careful of those bosses. Last boss is a joke. You just don't want to get hit with the the twirling, what do they call them? Swords, knives, whatever. Don't be me and get hit by them like a dumb. All right, like I did last week. Holes of Infusion. Now, the first boss is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. That boss is difficult to deal with on a normal week, but people don't know how to deal with those ginormous circles. Now, there's two ways to deal with them from what I've seen. One, everyone spreads out and they just sprint and move as quick as they can out of them. Or the other option is stack them and everybody runs in one direction. I don't know which is the preferred method to do it. I just know I've seen those two ways being done. And, both of them are meh to me. So be careful of that. Careful of the frog boss. People still don't understand. The gulp kills the frogs. Please continue to keep with the gulps. The gulps will do nothing but help you. Netherian's Lair, there's a bunch of mobs there, but nothing's too big. Just got to make sure you don't stand in avalanches while bursting's going off, and you'll be fine there. And then you got to be careful of the what is it called? The boss the snake boss. He actually got nerfed a little bit, so he's gonna be a little bit easier, but you just gotta still be careful of that. The last boss is gonna be grueling. It's gonna take a very long time. So please make sure you don't stay too far away from the boss and you continue to work properly through that. Nefarious, hopefully with the decreased mob HP in that dungeon, it'll make it a little bit more smooth and more enjoyable. I like the dungeon already. The fact that you got the chains to make it a little easier for people, the fact that you have that and you have other things, hopefully that stuff makes everything work a little bit better. So keep an eye on that. Okay. Make sure when you have to pull the chains, make sure people are pulling those properly across to snap them. Make sure you're dealing with all of that properly. So we take care of that. So that's not going to be that bad. Uldaman, make sure you're be very careful of the pulls there. A lot of them are going to be very large. So bursting is going to play a really big effect in there. Entangling is going to play something there too because of the small hallways. So be careful of that. And make sure you go to the first boss being Bromok, lusting, burning that boss, and seeing how that goes. Because it's going to be a very, very hard week to deal with that. So be careful of that. The last boss is going to be a little bit difficult, so we'll see how that goes. Just because it's a DPS race. And it's just because it's not going to be difficult per se, but damage is going to be really high on everybody, so the healers are going to be throwing heals there. The tanks are going to be taking a lot of damage. They're going to have to be a lot of self-sufficient healings on that last boss, so be aware of that. And then Underrot, be careful there. Let's think about that. Lots of group pulls, so you're going to have a lot of massive spells there. Make sure you got a lot of heals going on there when you guys are ready. The bosses there aren't bad except for Kragmaw, that one stupid annoying one. So make sure you get lust for that. So either do the lust for the first boss, clear to the third, kill the third, go back, lust for the second, which is something I think is the best method to go through there. And then Vortex Pinnacle is the last dungeon on the list. There's a couple of large pulls, so be careful there. Trying to think. Vortex Pinnacle's got that. That second boss where the winds come from, be very careful of that, of where you're going to be going there. Trying to think if there's anything else. Like I said, the last boss, the Novas were nerfed, the pulsing damage, so that shouldn't be as difficult. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting week, I feel like. We're going to be starting dungeons probably tomorrow. This today is July 4th, obviously, as everyone knows, and me being a person that lives in the US, we're going to be celebrating it with family, you know, sitting out doing the barbecue thing and having a good time, spending some time with that. I might get on later tonight, but it's going to be, you know, weekly cleanup, aka the weeklies for all of our profession stuff, and you know, just hanging out, talking with friends, seeing what's going on, and kind of just cleaning up. Oh, I probably will end up streaming later tonight, but like I said, it's going to be not much crazy. So anyway, thank you very much for hanging out. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like I always say. Make sure you check out these amazing glasses from Sub2R and the code for you know, Rogue Energy drinks if you're going to be doing that. Lord PeteyTV on both of those. All right, I love you all. Dream big, keep gaming. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully in stream. If not, keep an eye. We're gonna have a bunch of videos coming out this week involving the couple of things I played off stream for the, what is it called, Steam Fest. So, all right, love you all. Bye, everybody. Have a good one. See you soon.